posted a question in Facebook asking people, bakit mahal magpa-therapy? There are a lot of perspectives, a lot of insights from my friends and colleagues who are OTs, PTs, and speech pathologists. And I also want to include in this short vlog my reasons and also their insights as to why therapy services are expensive in the Philippines. The first reason is of education. Most of these therapists are educated in universities. They finished a 4-year or 5-year course from good universities around the country. And they had to endure a lot of stress, a lot of exams, a lot of qualifying evaluations from professors and supervisors. And their parents also invested a lot for them to study and be qualified as therapists. So kaya rin po mahal yung mga rates ng mga therapists natin when they start working and serving our clients. Aside from formal education, they also go to trainings, attend certifications, they continuously join seminars internationally and also locally. Kaya they also have self-investment on that. They pay for these training certifications and seminars. Kaya sometimes when they gain more knowledge, they tend to really also get what they paid for from the services that they also provide. The second reason is qualifications. Okay, they just don't finish college and get their diploma and go and serve and provide therapy everywhere, but they also have to take an exam, a board exam from PRC. And we all know that taking an exam from the PRC is also very difficult. They had to go to review centers, they have to, pass certain documents for them to be qualified. And they're only not qualified locally, but also some of them would get qualifications in the US, in New Zealand, in Australia, or name the country. So that, maganda rin yung services na binibigay nila because they are qualified. And I think most of us would want to get services from qualified professionals. The third reason would be investments. Therapists, the qualified therapists would usually use assessment tools, standardized tools that they order abroad, or equipments, materials, and tools that they buy. The toys and the tools that they use, especially in the pediatric practice, is quite expensive, and they also have very good quality. They buy durable materials para hindi rin agad-agad nasisira. And of course, naturally, they also want a return of investment from what they bought so that they can provide the best high-quality services for their patients. The fourth reason why therapy rates are high in the Philippines is because therapists would also need to consider their travel time and their preparation time. What do I mean by this? Travel time is their commute fares. So some of the therapists would live outside the city, or they need to travel 1 hour, or some of them 2 hours just to get to the center or the hospital and go back. They also need, to do documentation, and that would entail extra time from them. Outside the therapy session, they need to do a documentation, administrative work, to make sure that the documents and everything after therapy is all, organized and all in control. And they also provide consultation after the session and inform the family, instruct the family what to do for the week. And that also has to be, paid. That's why therapy services are also considered valued and expensive. And lastly, one of the reasons why therapy services in the Philippines is quite expensive is because of security. Most of the consultants and therapists in the Philippines are, or rather, do not have benefits or do not have a secured health insurance. They also need to pay taxes. And they need to secure these benefits and insurance out of their own pockets. They need to, buy like a private insurance, and they also need to pay their own pag-ibig, SSS, and all those things. Hindi po yun kasama dun sa binabayad ninyo agad. I mean, if they're employed in a center or a hospital, except probably for public hospitals, most of them would have to do an out-of-pocket to secure those investments, insurances, and benefits. So those are the 5 reasons why therapy fees in the Philippines might seem to be expensive. Before I end the video, I just want us to consider several things. Number 1, therapy services in the Philippines is actually cheaper compared to other countries. When you go abroad, even here in Southeast Asia, Philippines would cost cheaper when it comes to therapy services. We also have to consider the law of supply and demand. I mean, there are very few therapists who are graduating or who are being qualified every year, but there's a high demand for it. That's why, we just need to follow the economics of things when it comes to human resources. The third consideration would be the cost of living and human capital. Well, when you say cost of living, most of the general public in the Philippines would get lower incomes when you compare it to these therapy services that they have to pay for eventually. And human capital also. Just imagine one therapy session is equal to an hour, and they pay like 500 or 700 just in some areas. But when you do x-rays or when you do checkups, it's just 15 minutes or even less, and they can do a lot in an hour. So we need to really consider these factors like time, human resources, human capital, and the system. And the last consideration that we need to think about would be the lack of universal health insurance, making therapy services an out-of-pocket expense from our people. That's why it seems to look very expensive. In conclusion, therapy services in the Philippines can generally be seen as a financial burden based on an out-of-pocket system. Hence, people think that therapy is only for the well-to-do people. However, we need to also consider that the therapy rates are actually based on the professional's qualifications, investments, and their need to also secure and sustain their needs, resources, and get a quality of life. Paying our professionals with value make them stay and serve the people with genuine care and excellence. And I think that we all want that for our family members, our children, and ourselves. Thank you for listening.